Hey everyone, and welcome to another weekly episode where we look at some book covers, talk about why they're great, offer a few ideas on how to make them even better, and then let you vote for your favorite and link down below. Speaking of down below, there are all kinds of things down there that I would appreciate you to click. There's a like button, a bell button, the subscribe button, and the one that's most helpful to me involves who I am. I'm your humble host, M.L.S. Weech, and I am an independent self-published author. And if you would click my author profile down there, you can look at all my books that are available. And if any of them interest you, I'd really appreciate it if you gave them a chance. So a couple big things happening because this is we're getting closer to the yearly poll. And the reason we're that much closer is it is time to announce the winner for the February book cover of the month, and then look at the winner for the second week of March. And once we finish up March, we pick a winner for that month, and then we got 12 nominees for the book cover of the year. And of course, you will be able to vote for your favorite. So let's start with the winner for the February book cover of the month. And that winner is Outcast by Louise Carey. As I looked at it more and more, I really felt like this was a very competitive month. A lot of the covers were great. And this one stood out because of its color and its composition and its use of text placement. And so I really felt like this is a very deserving entry into the book cover of the year contest. And I offer all my congratulations to Louise Carey and the designer of this book cover, because it really is fantastic. And I wish you the best of luck in the book cover of the year competition. The next thing we're going to do is name the winner for the second week of March. And the winner for the second week of March is Lost in the Waking Well by, I think it's John Norden, Notlid, John Notlid. So Lost in the Waking Well by John Notlid is the week 2 winner and the second nominee in the March book cover of the month bracket. This again has fantastic light, beautiful detail, and I am actually impressed with the arrangement of the text so that it framed the face. It's a great cover. Congratulations. And now we can start looking at the nominees for week 3 so that you guys can vote for your favorite. The first one we're going to look at is Hunt the Stars by Jessie Mihalik, I think is the way it's pronounced. And if I am wrong, I am sorry, but Hunt the Stars. So this cover is, I looked at it and I thought, like, this cover is one bad decision away from being terrible, but that's why it's good. So you have 2 sets of silhouettes, and you have the male-female pair in the front, and they're offset pretty well. They're done well, good detail. They get a little lost down below, but in the cover section here, the segment of the cover just reveals title text and other aspects of it. And then you have that other set of silhouettes there, and there's just enough separation and just enough stuff going on in the background to make that work. So it's a silhouette on a silhouette. And if your composition's not on point, those things can overlap and really cause a nightmare. And that's not what happened here. The text, the title text and the author text work well. I might have brought everything down just a little bit. I don't know why, but I think that the designers wanted the line that's formed by the gap between the back of the head and the back of the ponytail leads you right to that text, and I don't argue that, but it feels like it's overlapping too much, and there's all kinds of space for you to bring that down a little bit to give a little bit more prominence to those figures. Still, it's a good cover. It's well conceived and pretty well executed. The next cover falls in the it just looks awesome category. Sometimes that works. So this is Dark Horse by Shane Silvers. And honestly, it's just a really cool looking unicorn, a black unicorn with a headless horseman kind of deal. I'm pretty sure this headless horseman, whatever's going on there, it just looks cool. I do kind of give it a little bit of a knock because I look in there and the detail gets a little hard to read. It only gets harder to read. Nowadays, when you have online sales, as important as they are, readability is even more important on a small scale. So you're looking at little icons as you're scrolling through Amazon. And those things have to stand out. What stood out to me while I was scrolling through Amazon was that wicked looking black unicorn and that cool little power bolt that's coming from the figure's arm. So whether it's a headless horseman or a really tiny guy, that might not even be, that might be wings, but I'm pretty sure there's a figure in there. So it's awesome because the unicorn looks wicked, but whatever's going on right here, I just don't understand. Believe it or not, while I was staring, I was, oh, those are wings. It's a black Pegasus unicorn with something going on here. Whatever it is, it looks awesome, but I wish it were a little easier to see what exactly is going on in that area. So great with less than desired results in terms of clarity of viewing. The next cover we're going to look at really kind of stood out to me, even though it's super simplistic. It's Silent 5 by W.M. Pawn. So at the end of the day, it's just a face, but they're doing a lot of things with layering and blending that make this face compelling without taking away from the characteristics of a face that are prominent, like those bright eyes, the shape of the nose, the red pink of the lips, all of those things combined, even though there's a lot going on in the layering and the transparency of what's going on in the elements behind the face. So we get all the benefits of having a face, and we get additional details that are provided in the elements that are around it. Some people might be angry because they can't really see what's back there. But because I think that's more just design background elements, I'm less bothered by it. So it's just kind of a clever use of a basic technique, but it's well executed, so it works. We're back to silhouettes with our next nominee, with Raising Abel by W. Michael Gear and Kathleen O'Neill Gear. So red is a strong color, kind of pull the eye, and what they did to counter the issues that red causes on art is they just used the title text as a primary design scheme, and then you got the silhouette of the figures running along it. So it's a very nice use of title text with silhouette and a strong color that will then draw the viewer's eye, and it drew my eye. So not the most incredibly complex, but good designs almost always are simplistic in their approach. And this is a New York Times bestseller. These are New York Times bestsellers, and so they probably have people working for them who know their job. And it caught my eye, and I liked it. I got the yawns. I'm not actually tired. Okay. I think I just had to get that one out of there. So the next cover we're going to look at is Haven by Talia Beckett. And there's another author whose name doesn't appear on the cover, and I want to get that to you. So it's Talia Beckett and Jess Mountafield. I don't know why Jess Mountafield's name isn't on this cover, but it is listed as a credit on the Amazon page. So I'm going to make sure that I give this author credit. So I talk a lot about backs of heads and landscapes, and if the landscape is cool, just show me the landscape, and if the figure is important, show me the figure. This is how people find that balance. So you have this pretty cool looking planetary landscape looking thing, and then you have this figure with this wicked looking sword. All you have to do is just turn that figure around. Give me one eyeball, give me a face profile, give me something to look at other than hair. And now we're on to something, and this cover does that. Honestly, I picked it for that reason alone. You know, in terms of improving it, I might have scaled the figure down a little bit so that the author text fit without overlapping the ponytail. Is it that big a deal? No, but those little details often mean the world in design and how people see things, because an individual might not look at a cover like this and think right off the top of the bat, oh man, my eye is having trouble focusing because the letter T is on top of the ponytail. But there are a lot of studies in how people see, and when you have elements overlapping it, you're creating conflict and tension with the eye. And, you know, the author text is not where you want the tension of your cover to be. It's a small knock. It's an easy fix. It's still a cool cover. It's still interesting, and it still shows people how to strike the balance between, you know, hey, I want to have this cool landscape, but I want this figure to be there too. Okay, well, just give us a side profile and that'll make it work. Sixth cover we're going to look at is Fables End by Seth Holloway. And so this cover has good, strong color, an interesting landscape, reasonably well rendered. It's not like the coolest looking spear cruiser spacecraft I've ever seen, but it's well rendered with some pretty interesting lights, and it gives a little bit of motion to the two-dimensional image, and that's always a positive thing. The title text is effective for what it's doing, and it's legible, so that all works together, and it's great. Apparently it's part of a series, a Shentonia story, so that title text is really going to go a long way to create branding and memorability from one entry in the series to the next. So all of those things work well together. And the last cover we're going to look at today is House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas, who's probably the most popular author of our covers. But man, that is just so beautiful in terms of detail. It's muted color, but everything is held together with varying degrees of shade. There's dynamics in how the hair is presented, although the artist in me is like, okay, but what's causing his hair to move? Someone have like a fan next to him, mostly because that's the only motion we have. You know, if there's such a powerful wind blowing, then the feathers on the wings should also be affected in some way, little ripples, things of that sort. But I don't know how many people make that read. And none of that changes, just how wicked, like I said with a couple covers back, sometimes that looks cool is all you really need, and that looks cool. So Sarah J. Maas doesn't need any of my help marketing her stuff, but my job, or what I do for this channel, at least until we finish this year's competition, I just look for cool covers and let you guys pick the one you like. And this is fantastic. Nice use of composition and placing elements in position to let everything stand out. So why am I not bothered by this moon going over the ponytail, but I was bothered by a letter on the author text going over a different ponytail? That's a fair question if it is something you're wondering. In this case, it's a clear foreground object being held by the character that creates a uniform, balanced scheme in the overall design. It's an element that looks like a part of the scene. Author and title text hardly ever looks like an element of the scene, which is something designers should really look into doing more of. But in this case, what's happening is I'm not bothered by that moon because that moon's a part of the whole. Whereas the author text, that was just author text and it was slapped on. And even me personally, I'm always going to get super annoyed when I feel like author and title text is like, hey, here's some really great art. Just slap the text on there and we'll call it a day. You can see here, the designer made a very pointed base for the author text, a very specific space for title text, and put everything together in accordance with that design, letting us get all we want to see out of that really, really awesome. I think it's an angel, or at least a depiction of some version of an angel. I could be wrong. I haven't read any of Sarah J. Maas's stuff. But whatever that is, it's really cool to look at. I can look at the author text. I can look at the title text. I can look at the figure, and each one gives me a reward. And that is a fantastic demonstration on superior cover art. That doesn't mean it'll win because you guys vote, but it's it's not just, oh, well, this is Sarah J. Maas book, we can put whatever we want in here, people will buy it, which is true. Even though I've never read any of her work, she's a #1 New York Times bestselling author. She is incredibly successful in her field. And so, you know, honestly, you put that name predominantly enough on the cover and people will pick it up, but they went the extra mile and designed a cover that is every bit as epic as Sarah J. Maas's reputation. So it's just fantastic work. And those are all the 7 covers. I've been communicating. I want to make sure I'm always being open. So this competition, we're going to finish this out because a person should finish what they start, and I want to get a winner named, but it hasn't been building the way I've been hoping. It hasn't been growing the way I've been hoping. That doesn't mean I'm not going to put post videos on YouTube. It doesn't even mean that they're not going to be weekly. I just don't see myself doing book covers, because even in addition to these 10, 15, 20-minute recordings, which real super low budget, just trying to be quick and effective with it. After all, I'm just trying to build things up. I have to look for the covers, and then I do a blog that accompanies that, and then I have to save all the files. There's a lot of work that goes into doing that, and if it's not generating interest, then I want to put my energy towards something that does generate interest. So I have an idea for where I'm going to go with future ones, but we're still going to finish. That means you still get to vote on your favorite in the link down below. We're still going to have a book cover of the year competition. We're still going to have a March book cover of the month competition. And I need your help with all of that. And if you're someone who's supporting this, 1, I appreciate it. Thank you. And 2, the more interest that we generate, the more the channel grows, then it's something I'm willing to revisit, but only if it's generating interest. I'm a big believer in sending energy toward pursuits that are gaining traction of some kind. So that's kind of what we're doing here. So talk to your friends, click the like button, click the subscribe button, make sure you actually vote, and then, you know, we'll be able to grow together as a community, which I hope happens. I love art. I love cover design. I love good books. And you know, I want to give them whatever recognition I can. Thank you again. Have a wonderful week. And as always, God be with you. Bye now.